Hey everybody, it's Lisa Pennington from thepenningtonpoint.com, and I'm so excited to show you my little oil bottles that I made. You're seeing these all over Etsy. They're very, very cute, but they're kind of pricey. So I'm going to show you how I make them myself, and then I'm going to give you a couple of tips on ways to take care of your essential oil, these little roller bottles. So I get these roller bottles. You can get the amber ones on Amazon. I got some pink ones, got different ones. I buy them. Sometimes I bought them at convention or from vendors. They're all over the internet. They're not hard to find, but what's popping up now is the ones with these words on them. This one says dream big because I made this for some of my team. I would just love my team. I'm going to show you in that one. I'm putting, these are members that are trying to grow their business, and I'm so proud of them. And so I put abundance, the field oil, and the finance oil in the Dream Big bottle. And then I put a V6 in there, filled it about half full with V6, and put maybe like 12 drops of abundance and 5 or 6 drops each of these. They thought it smelled a lot like Peace and Calming. I like the smell of it, but frankly, the smell doesn't really matter to me as long as it works. And this is gonna, I'm using it too. This is gonna encourage me. You can see it has some oil in it, and this is gonna encourage me to be a big dreamer and believe in my dreams. But I'm gonna make another one just to show you how I put the words on there with my Cricut. And also my ruler's backwards. I'm gonna measure my bottle and see that it's right about 2 inches. You're gonna need for this project, you will need some empty bottles. I've got all the pieces over here that belong to it. Here's the roller. I've got this, in this case, is a plastic roller. I really like a metal roller, but I had some plastic rollers, so we're just using them. And the lid. You're going to need some vinyl. I like the 651 vinyl, which means it is permanent and not repositionable. And then, of course, you'll need your Cricut. I like to use this weeding tool, and you will need some transfer paper. That's what this is. I've already cut it out. It comes in a big roll. Okay, and of course, you're going to need your Cricut Design Studio, which I'm going to use my iPad for. I'm going to open up the Cricut Design Space. And this is a really quick, easy project. In the one, I'm going to click on Create New Project, and I'm going to click on Text. We're not even going into all the fancy images and getting overwhelmed and wanting to make everything. I'm just going to go into Text. I'm going to fit, all these fonts are going to pop up. I'm going to choose my font, and I wish I could remember. I think the one I picked is kind of up higher. Let's start a little more at the top. Sorry, we'll let them load for a second. The fonts, I like to use a pretty chunky font for this because the letters are so small that they can tend to get messed up when they cut. So I really like to use a chunkier font. And if I was smart, I would have remembered which font I had originally chosen. But, oh yes, it is. It's Carly. K-A-R-L-E-Y. Okay. I picked Carly. It's got kind of a cute, fun style to it. And now it's going to let me type whatever I want to type. And I'm going to say Happy Kids. I'm going to make a Happy Kids blend. Now let's make this bigger so we can see it to work with it. Okay. I want my letters to be really look a little more like cursive and be touching. So what I'm going to do with that is I have it selected. You can see now it's not selected. Now you can see the square around it, and I'm going to click on Edit. In Edit, there's an option that says Letter Space, and I can choose that and scoot them in a little bit more and have them a little bit more touching. I like that look where they're kind of barely touching. And so now what I need to do is make it the right size. You saw that I measured my bottle, and so it needs to be less than 2 inches. So while I'm still in Edit, there's a width and height option. Width is what I'm concerned with. I'm going to do 1.85, and then the height will automatically adjust. It looks really big still because I have my thing enlarged, but it's pretty. It's less than 2 inches. Whoops. Okay. So the last thing I want to do is go into Actions and click Weld, because I want this to print as one whole thing. I want it to not cut. If I didn't do that, it would cut the H, then it would cut the A, then it would cut those all individually, and that just makes it easier to peel off. It really looks better on your bottle, and it lasts longer if they're all one. And so this is all one. So now I'm just going to send it to my Cricut and I'm going to cut it out, which I've already done for you right here. I thought, because I'm using a pink bottle, I thought this silver would look really pretty. Again, this is it's called 651. It's also called permanent adhesive. You don't really want to use the regular vinyl. You want to use the permanent. In fact, I use the permanent adhesive for almost everything. But I haven't weeded it for you. Weeding it is what you call removing all the negative stuff. So I'm going to do that for you real quick. And you'll just see, boom. Okay, so you got to do it carefully. That little dot on the eye is trying to come off with my vinyl. So I'm going to be careful with that. My S is trying to come off. Yowza, people. See, it's not as simple as it looks. Give it care. You can't just yank it. All right. I'm going to just pull slowly. And oh, this is going to be super cute. Okay. There we have our letters. And then I'm going to take my weeding tool. And I'm just going to get the middles out of the P here. 2 P's and an S. I think the middle came out of the S already. With this 651, it is super sticky. Like once you get it on there somewhere, it's not coming off, which is actually what you want on your essential oil bottle. So that's all good. Okay, and I got to take the middle out of the D. So I loosened it up with my weeding tool, and then I'm just going to pull it off. And now, see, it's stuck to my finger, and I think it's going to stay there. Now we have these cute little letters. Now, how do we get the letters onto our cute little bottle? Well, that's where the transfer paper comes in. I cut a small bit of the transfer paper. It comes on a big roll. And so, let's see, I'll show you. The transfer paper, if you're looking for it in the store, is going to come like this on a great big roll. And you can see, I just cut off a little corner of it because I don't like to waste anything. And so I will now peel back the corner of the transfer paper, which looks easy because by the magic of video, I pre-did it. And I'm going to stick this down on top of my Happy Kids letters. Now you can use your finger, you can use anything. I like to use the little tool here to really get your letters stuck to the transfer paper. You can use a credit card. Sometimes if you have something bigger, like sometimes you're doing a whole wall decal or something, you don't want, just rub it all with your fingernail. But in this case, that should work. And then what has happened is it's actually stuck to the transfer paper, right? And then this, I'm going to put a couple of things on either side of my bottle so that it doesn't roll. And I'm going to just stick it right on. Oh my goodness, I'm going to stick it right on. It's hard because I'm not over it. I've got the camera over it. My bottle. All right, get it where I want it. And then again, I'll probably take my little tool again and I'll rub over all of it so that those letters really stick to the bottle. And look at that. I'm going to peel it off carefully. Again, super careful. My S isn't wanting to come off. You always want to make sure that your bottle is nice and clean, right? Doesn't have any oil on it, because if it's really best on a bottle you haven't put anything in yet, because those will always have a little bit of something on there. And then there you go. Look how cute that is. And now we have a roller bottle that says Happy Kids. And I think what I would put in this, I would take my V6 and I would fill it a little more than halfway full. And then I would put in some peppermint and some lemon and some frankincense. These are all in your kit. And then just because, I would probably add a few drops of gratitude, because what kid doesn't need a little extra gratitude? Probably I need some of that myself. So that is how simple it is to make your, you put your words on your bottle with your Cricut. Super easy, y'all. I want to show you a couple of tips, just little fun tips, extra tips if you're making these. A lot of times, once you put your oil in, like this happened with this one, I put my oil in and the roller ball would just really not move. It just wasn't getting going, and I was having to rub it really hard, like I was going to put it on my wrist or my face or wherever I decide to put it, behind my ears maybe. It wouldn't roll. So what you can do in that case, if it won't roll, it's in the bottle, I would wedge the roller ball back out of the bottle, and I would find something sharp but not too sharp. I'm going to use my Cricut why is it scoring tool, But you could use a pen that doesn't have the pin popped out or anything. And I'm going to pop the roller ball. I'm going to push on it. Or is my scoring tool getting stuck? I'm going to push the roller ball out. Okay? And then I'm going to take the oil that's in the bottle. In this case, I used the oil out of this. Because you have the roller ball out of the bottle, you've got your bottle open and you already have your oil in it. I would take a little bit of the oil on my finger and I would roll it around on the ball and get it super oily. Then I would pop the ball back in, put this back in, and guaranteed after that your roller ball is going to roll nice and smooth. So that's your first tip. And then your second tip I want to give you is, because I travel a ton, I was always struggling with my roller balls leaking in my suitcase. Even if I put them in a Ziploc bag and they don't get all over everything, I don't want it to leak at all. I don't want it to leak on itself. I don't want it to leak. So I called a woman who sells these and I said, what's up with the leaking? I tried different little rollers. I personally like the metal balls, but those leak too. And she finally said, listen, they're going to leak a little because they're actually made. I mean, that's the point, that they leak onto the ball and they get out and you can get the oil out. So this is the system that I came up with to travel with my oil bottles. I take a square of saran wrap, and before I go out of town, like I don't just do this at home because they stay standing up at home, but when I'm traveling, I put this over the top of the roller ball, and then I just screw the lid on. And now this, I promise you, will not leak. And then when I get to my hotel or wherever I'm going, my conference, I take that off, I take this off, and I just throw it away. Okay? And then I carry with me, I know, call me crazy, extras, so in between stacks of paper towels. So I will have a Ziploc bag in my suitcase that just has a few of these in there, however many, let's say I take 10 roller bottles, I would have 10 of these, a little square of paper towel, a little square of saran wrap, and then when I go to leave, if I, didn't manage to save all these, or if they got thrown away or whatever, I don't even want to worry about it. I have new ones to put on for when I travel back home, and then your roller balls are not going to leak. So those are your tips, and those are your how to make your own darling little essential oil bottles. Are they not the cutest little things? So be sure and check out my other videos. I've got tons and tons of Cricut stuff, tons and tons of great ideas, and follow me on the PenningtonPoint.com for lots of other great essential oil ideas. You guys have a great and happy Kids Day.